Round 1 versus St Kilda. The Gold Coast Suns opened their 2013 season with a bang, defeating St Kilda by 13 points in front of nearly 14,000 fans at Metricon Stadium.
From the middle of the ground, long ball, Gilbert gets back, drops the mark, there's Ablett, the fend, the turnaround, that's a goal! Ablett's kicked 4!
Greg Broughton and Tom Murphy made their first appearance for the Gold Coast, but it was the debutant Jager O'Meara who stole the limelight in the lead up to the game. Skipper Gary Ablett was at his brilliant best from the opening bounce, collecting 34 possessions, 4 goals and a maximum 25 votes in a best-on-ground performance. Rory Thompson went head-to-head with former Gold Coaster and St Kilda skipper Nick Riewoldt, and it was Thompson who came out on top, Riewoldt having little influence on the game, with Thompson kicking off the season with 17 votes. Greg Broughton couldn't have asked for a better start to his career as a Sun, restricting one of the competition's best small forwards in Stephen Milne. Charlie Dixon and Luke Russell each kicked 2 goals, guiding the home side to an emphatic victory in what was a true team performance, with all players registering votes in the season opener.
Win their first game of the year against the highly fancied Saints. Gold Coast fans were ecstatic. I'm just another soul for sale. Oh well.
Round 2 versus Sydney. The Suns headed to Sydney for the club's first ever match at the SCG, tackling the reigning premiers in the wet. Despite the conditions suiting the Swans down to the ground, the Gold Coasters took it up to the home side from the first siren. Charlie Dixon led the charge for the Gold Coasters, snapping a pivotal goal in the dying minutes of the opening term to give the visitors the lead heading into the break. Dixon went on to kick 3 goals and picked up 17 votes in the Club Champion Award count, while in just his second AFL match, Jager O'Meara showcased his elite talent against the competition's biggest and best, collecting 25 possessions and 15 votes. David Swallow and Dion Prestia were amongst the Suns' best, with both players finishing with more than 20 disposals and registering 13 votes apiece, as the Suns went down by 41 points.
Important 9-9 for the Lions. They're still searching for their first win. Hunt with the first possession, pushing it out wide, out to the advantage of Bennell, who gets around.
Round 3 versus Brisbane. The Lions headed down the M1 for Q-Clash 5 at Metricon Stadium. The match, a thrilling encounter from start to finish, despite the wet, slippery conditions.
Beautiful work. Ablett to Bennell. 3 in a row, Gold Coast.
Harley Bennell was on fire for the Suns, kicking 3 goals and collecting 27 disposals on his way to securing 14 club champion votes. Jared Brennan also picked up 14 votes against his former side. Brennan turning the game on its head when he was shifted into the midfield, running riot as he gathered 30 possessions. It was former Docker Greg Broughton, though, who was voted the Suns' best, securing 15 votes in another dominant display in defence. A late Michael Riscatelli goal got the Suns to within 2 points with moments to go. However, the home side's late charge was cut short by the final siren, the Lions securing their 4th consecutive Q-Clash trophy. Round 4 versus the Power. The Suns welcomed former assistant coach and Power senior coach Ken Hinkley back to Metricon Stadium. But it was his old mate Gary Ablett who caused Hinkley a few headaches. Ablett racked up 35 touches and 16 votes, but it wasn't enough to get his side over the line. 2 of the most talked about youngsters in the game took to the field on opposing sides. Jager O'Meara and Oliver Wines were the early favourites for the NAB AFL Rising Star and are set to go head-to-head for the next decade. O'Meara continuing his exceptional form as he collected 13 votes, while Mr Consistent, Jared Harbrow, mustered up 10 votes for the 3rd time in the opening 4 games this season.
That's a terrific goal by Jared Harbrow, the first for the Suns.
Well, those he got daddy's
5 versus GWS. After 2 matches at home, it was off to chilly Canberra to tackle fellow newcomers, the GWS Giants. And it was Charlie Dixon who stole the show. Dixon's 6-goal haul set a new club record for the most goals in a match, with the big man having a day to remember, receiving 23 votes, as the Suns ran away 44-point winners.
Wanting Dixon, and Big Charlie keeps it in, gets rid of Scully. How about that? He's kicked his second, and that's one of his best.
Gary Ablett was his usual best, finishing with a game-high 32 possessions and 3 goals. The captain earning 17 club championship votes for his efforts. Teenage superstar Jager O'Meara wasn't far behind, gaining 16 votes as he finished with 25 disposals, a game-high 11 clearances and, importantly, a NAB AFL Rising Star nomination. Jared Harbrow and Zach Smith were also amongst the votes. Round 6 versus Fremantle. The Suns battled Fremantle at Metricon Stadium in round 6, in what proved to be one of the toughest assignments in football in 2013.
Heads to the top of the square. Smith!
It was a memorable night for youngster Jesse Lonergan, making his AFL debut. However, it was David Swallow who led the way for the Gold Coast. Swallow was superb across half-back, playing a pivotal shutdown role on one of the competition's most dangerous forwards in Hayden Ballantyne, keeping the Gold Sneak scoreless throughout the entire contest. Swallow receiving 20 club championship votes. Jared Harbrow continued his climb up the leaderboard, the fearless wingman finishing with a game-high 32 possessions and 16 votes. The Dockers running out 45-point victors. Round 7, Melbourne. The Gold Coasters made their first trip to the MCG for 2013, looking to secure their maiden victory at the home of football against the Demons.
Circumstances, Lynch went once, went twice, and on the third attempt he might well have kicked a great goal.
The Suns got off to a flyer, booting 5 goals to none in the first quarter. Returning for his first game of 2013, Campbell Brown played a pivotal role, snaring 2 first-quarter goals as the Suns capitalised on their commanding lead.
Couldn't get much more through the middle. Look at the joy for the Suns.
Gary Ablett was once again dominant, the skipper unstoppable as he amassed a game-high 38 disposals in the side's 60-point victory, the biggest winning margin since the team's introduction to the national competition. Ablett receiving 20 votes. Also registering 20 votes was Dion Prestia. The pocket rocket continued to take his game to another level and relished at the opportunity to go head-to-head with D's gun Nathan Jones. David Swallow picked up where he left off against the Dockers, providing strong run and carry across half-back, as he finished with 24 disposals and 17 votes. Zach Smith also hit the scoreboard, kicking 3 goals, as the ruckman picked up 16 votes, while Matt Shaw and Sam Day pocketed 15 and 14 votes respectively.
Big day for this young football club. Their first victory in Melbourne, their first win at the famous MCG. It certainly won't be the last.